What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another Q&A. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I decided that I'd like to start doing these at least once a month. I plan to do these around the beginning of each month, so keep an eye on the community tab around the end of each month, like somewhere between the 29th to like the 30th of each month. That's probably around the time that I'll be posting and being like, hey, I'm about to do a Q&A, so leave your questions here, but also leave questions on this video, because before I go to record the next Q&A, I'll be checking back on the comment section here, just in case you guys have any like questions that you wanted to ask me but didn't get to before. Another good way to get featured in these videos is being in my Discord server. They know about literally everything that's happening before anybody else, whether that be upcoming videos or being featured in videos. So speaking of which, we are going to start with them first. This first one coming from one of my mods on Discord, Computer Magic. He asks, is there any upcoming game you're looking forward to playing? What is it and what do you expect from it? And you know, it's kind of funny because at the time of him asking this, I would have said Redfall. However, at the time of me recording this and the time that you guys are seeing this, that game is actually already technically out. So I guess I'd have to change my answer. The next game that is releasing that I'm looking forward to is Tears of the Kingdom. I'm actually really excited for that one. I was a little late to the party and I didn't play Breath of the Wild until just a couple months ago, and even when I did that, I played it on the Wii U. So let me just say, if you haven't played Breath of the Wild yet, you know, I know Tears of the Kingdom is coming out very soon, and I know the majority of people that would have wanted to play Breath of the Wild already have, but still, if you haven't played that game for any reason, please do so. Whether it's on the Wii U or the Switch, you can't go wrong with either. It is an absolutely phenomenal game. Like, chef's kiss. This next one coming from another one of my mods on Discord. This one from Shira says, at Grotesque, your content is consistently awesome. What's some advice you have to people who are aspiring creators? Who inspires you the most? Also, did you know your jawline is so sharp that you can cut steel? Love you lots. I'll answer these in order. So what's some advice you have to people who are aspiring creators? Don't focus on the views. If you are coming into this field of work, I guess we'll call it, or this career, and all you care about is views and getting famous, you are in it for the wrong reasons and you are going to fail, plain and simple. If you want to be a successful creator, you have to actually have the desire to create things, to create videos, to do streams. Like, you have to have that genuine love for creating content, whether that be recording videos, editing videos, making thumbnails, titling videos, working on things behind the scenes, whether that be partnerships or sponsorships or contracts or deals. There's a lot that goes into it, and you have to have a genuine love and desire for all of that, otherwise you're going to fail. If you think it's just going to be some easy way out, you're going to get a bunch of views, you're going to get a bunch of money, or it's just, that's not how it works. Oh, and taxes, you gotta be very good at doing calculations. You at least to a certain extent have to like doing taxes, because once you're a content creator, there's a lot that you gotta track. Yeah, that's my biggest piece of advice, is just make sure that your heart is in the right place, because I get so sick and tired of seeing so many kids coming into this, and they're like, I'm not getting any views, how do I get views? I want to be able to drop out of school, I want to do this full time, I want money, 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 money. It gets so draining hearing those same conversations over and over and over again, especially with the ones that like don't have their heart in the right place. And even for the ones that kind of have their heart in the right place, they get so caught up in the views, like, why aren't my videos getting views? Why aren't I getting subscribers? It's like, homie, you gotta start out by making content that is actually good, so then people will want to watch it. And again, even then, when you're making content, if you're so fixated on the views, like, just focus on the content itself. The better you make your content, the more people are going to tune in and the more people are going to check it out. That's just how it works. It's as simple as that. Make good content, you'll get the views you deserve. And you may be like, hey, I'm a small creator and I don't get the views I deserve. No, if you're not getting any views, you simply don't deserve those views yet, and you need to make your content better before you get the views that you deserve. The algorithm doesn't hate you, nobody hates you, your content just sucks, make it better. It's as simple as that. Now, granted, there's a few exceptions, like when it comes down to like particular niches that might not get as many views, but that's like a whole different can of worms and a whole different conversation. Anyway, for the next question, who inspires you the most? Okay, this is a little tricky because, like, I don't know, I don't really necessarily have like inspirations per se. I mean, I have people that I look up to that could like kind of be a similar thing, but I have nobody that like outright inspires me, if that makes sense. Like, if I were to look back at maybe my childhood, I could look back at some childhood inspirations that got me into like really wanting to do YouTube, like Syndicate and Allier. We're not talking like, you know, Syndicate and Allier nowadays. I mean, they still both make great content, but I'm talking like way back in the day, like 2010, 2009, even further back than that. We're talking like White Boy 7th Street, like some of the more old school YouTubers like that. And then other ones that I watched back in the day, like Forest Fire 101. He was and still is one of my favorite YouTubers to this day. I constantly go back and watch those old videos, even though they're like, I don't even know, 14 years old at this point. That was like the early days of YouTube though. Like I said, those were like the main four for me. Allier, Syndicate, Syndicate, White Boy 7th Street, Forest Fire 101. And then you had like the early 2010s-ish era where like some more YouTubers were coming in between like 2010 and like 2014 in there. You had people like, you know, the obvious ones like Sky Does Minecraft. The list truly does go on and on. I mean, Stampy, FaZe Jev, Laggin24x, The Smith Plays, you know, then obviously like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, Mr. T Lexify as well. I've always loved his videos. Just something about his energy. It's just, he's so like out there. Like, he is insane, but in the best way possible. Love him in his videos. Yeah, if I was to sit here and list off all the YouTubers that I look up to, we'd be here for literal hours. Those were just like the main ones that I watched consistently when I was younger and, you know, when I was like a teenager and stuff like that. And to this day, I still watch all of them. And the last one also, did you know your jawline is so sharp that it can cut steel? I did not know that, but thank you. This next one is from another one of my mods on Discord, Big Daddy Matty 44. How long have you been cheating to beat Donkey Kong Country? I don't cheat, man. It's just all skill. If you don't get it, that just means that you aren't in the Discord server. One of our server members made a very, very funny video exposing me, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I highly recommend going to check it out. It's by a channel called Raiden Revengeance, and the video is called Grotesque Exposed. It gave me a good laugh. And we have two more questions from Big Daddy Matty. What are your goals in the upcoming months? I don't know. Play video games. Make YouTube videos. And then, do you have any new series you have planned or tell us about? Nothing that I am going to tell you guys about yet, but in terms of series, we are doing two currently. We're doing the Minecraft Survival series and then the Call of Duty Zombie series, so we're going to be continuing those, but in terms of other series that I have planned, I'm not going to tell you guys about that yet, but I'm very, very, very excited because it is a series that is going to be spanning quite a lengthy amount of time, I can imagine. This next one coming from Raiden Revengeance on Discord. At Grotesque, how have things been for you lately? What kind of games have you been playing? Also, you're the best YouTuber out there. So, when it comes to what kind of games I've been playing, for those of you that don't know, I play a lot of video games. I literally don't leave my room. If you go in the dictionary and look at the word hermit, the word grotesque is probably in the definition. I beat anywhere from 10 to 20 games a month. It just depends on what games I'm playing. Like, if I'm mainly just sticking to, like, shorter games, I can probably knock out 20 to 25 games in a month. But if I'm playing some longer ones, like RPGs, then, you know, that might be where I only beat, like, 10 games in a month. However, I keep all the games that I've beaten documented, like, as you can see here, games beaten in 2023, and then I keep a list of, like, what games I've beaten, what games were beaten in 1 month, and so far this year, I've not had a month where I've beaten less than 10 games, and the same can be said for last year. But anyway, I'll just kind of go through April and May. So in April, I beat Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, Doom 1993, Umbrella Corps, Emily is Away, Ultimate Spider-Man, Heavenly Sword, Tekken 7, Alien Hominid HD, Dead Island 2, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. Let me just say, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, you know, I've always loved vanilla Final Fantasy 15, and while Royal Edition didn't add too much to the base game, it still added a few very heartfelt cutscenes towards the end, and it got me. It was so good. And then yesterday, from the time of me recording this, I beat Forza Horizon 2 Presents Fast and the Furious. I literally beat that game in one sitting. I mean, it's technically not like a full game, but it's a standalone expansion, like a standalone game based off of, or like a spin-off of Forza Horizon 2, and I count standalone expansions because most of those end up being the length of like a short game. But anyways, yeah, that's what I've been up to for the last month. And the other question, how have things been for you lately? I don't really delve into, you know, how things are for me personally on the channel. You know, you guys are just here for entertainment. I'm human, so it's only natural that there's some sort of chaos going on in my life at one time or another, but, you know, I don't really let it faze me. All in all, I'm generally doing pretty good. I've just, again, been sitting in my room playing video games as I've been doing for the last couple years, and, yeah, I don't know. I don't really let any outside stuff bother me. I just kind of focus on me, focus on my games, get lost in that, and, get lost in making my videos and stuff like that, and yeah, all around, I've been pretty good. And then the last bit, also, you're the best YouTuber out there. Obviously, that's not a question, but it just, you know, that made me smile, so thank you. I appreciate that. That's all for the Discord questions, so now let's go over to the YouTube community poll. All right, we got a couple of questions here. This first one coming from Sprigatory. What is your age? So, haha, this is a funny story. So, there is a reason why I cannot reveal my age online, and that is because as a content creator, as a YouTuber, it is very common to deal with these things called stalkers. Unfortunately, I have a couple of those. And one of them was so determined in stalking me that they decided to do full background checks on me. And they messaged me one night at like 2 or 3 in the morning when I was in La La Land. I was dreaming about tea parties and cupcakes. But what was happening in the real world? Some no-life loser was messaging me on Discord telling me that they're getting ready to dox me. But anyway, they messaged me with 2 sets of names, 2 sets of ages, 2 sets of addresses. Both of the ages that they sent could very well be my age, and unfortunately, one of the things that they sent was accurate to my actual information. So if I go ahead and announce my age in a video, then that will confirm the information of one of the identities that he has, which means he will have my address, which means, I don't know, he could like come and shoot me, he could blow my house up, he could send me a stink bomb in the mail. I don't know, but I don't want to find out. So until further notice and until I move, I'm not able to reveal my age online. You can thank the stupid, creepy, no-life, loser, stalker person for that. All I will say is that I am an adult, I am over 18, so yeah. This next one coming from Phoenix Z, favorite COD gun. Oh man, do not do that to me. Alright, bear with me because I'm not able to just choose like one favorite COD gun. I'm gonna give you my favorite COD gun from every single Call of Duty. So when it comes to the first couple Call of Duties, like Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, Finest Hour, Big Red One, there's not any like particular standouts in my mind, maybe like the Car 98K or like the PPSH or MP40 for any of them. When it comes to COD 4, I'd probably say like the AK-47 or the Deagle. In World of War, I'd say the PPSH. In Modern Warfare 2, I'd again probably either say the Deagle or like the Model 1987 Akimbos. Those things are insane. Black Ops 1, I'd say maybe the Commando or the FAMAS. In Modern Warfare 3, I'm pretty basic in that regard. I'd probably say like, I don't know, the M4. Something about the M4A1 in that game just felt so good to shoot. And again, put the Deagle on there just because the Deagle is goated. Black Ops 2, I'd definitely say the AN-94, and Call of Duty Ghosts, I'd say the Honey Badger, and Advanced Warfare, I don't know, the Cell 3 Cauterizer was actually a pretty cool gun, but then you got the obvious meta ones like the BAL-27 and the ASM-1. Black Ops 3, oh man, there's so many great guns in that game. I mean, we got the KN-44, the 205 Brecci. The MR6 was always a really satisfying handgun to use, and then the SMGs were all great, like the VMP and the Kuda and the Razorback. Black Ops 3 would honestly be really hard for me to choose one if I'm gonna be honest. In Infinite Warfare, I don't know, like the NV4 was pretty good. I used that one a good bit, and then the ERAD SMG, that SMG was so satisfying to use in multiplayer. In World War II, oh man, maybe the Thompson or the STG. I'll say the STG. Black Ops 4, I'm gonna have to say the KN-57. That gun just feels really clean to use, whether you're in zombies or multiplayer. In MW 2019, that is an interesting one. I would probably either give that to the M4A1 again, or the Origin 12 shotgun if we're in like Shipment or Shoot House or something like that. Black Ops Cold War, that's another really hard one for me, but I'd probably give it to like the AK-74U. I went on so many nasty streaks with that thing. Oh, and the LC-10. The LC-10 is so good. There's a lot of good guns in Cold War as well. There's a lot of weapons in that game. Call of Duty Vanguard, maybe the Einhorn Revolving. I had a lot of fun using that one in multiplayer, especially whenever they brought back like the Das House and the Shipment playlist. I would use that shotgun like crazy. And then the MP40 and the STG were pretty good for like the entirety of Vanguard's life cycle. And for Modern Warfare 2, we're only midway through its life cycle, so there's obviously a lot of weapons that are going to be added yet. However, I would say either the ISO Hemlock or the Chimera. Like, those guns absolutely shred, and I actually just uploaded a short just a couple weeks ago of me going on like a 12 kill streak in like 45 seconds with the Chimera. It was insane. But yeah, all of those answers were more relegated towards like multiplayer. If I was to talk about zombies, those would be completely different answers. So, you know, if you want me to answer that, I could totally do that too. Next question coming from Madera Uchina, I think is how you say it. Have you played Nier Automata? If not, you should. And if yes, did you like it? Of course I played Nier Automata. That game is amazing, and I did play it multiple times just to get like the, you know, the full experience, the true ending and all that. I'm not gonna say much because I don't want to spoil the game, but I highly recommend both Nier Automata and Nier Replicant if you haven't played either before. Both of those games are absolutely fantastic, and if you're wondering about the original Nier, like on the PS3, you don't necessarily need to play that. Like, you can just play Nier Replicant and get by. However, there are some slight differences between the two, so if you really want to get like the full experience and experience all the different, like, you know, little nuances and differences, then yeah, go ahead and play the original on the PS3, but otherwise you're cool just playing Automata and Replicant. Yeah, I absolutely adore that game. It is just chef's kiss. This next question coming from Upsolution77. What is your third favorite dinosaur? Probably a Stegosaurus. This last question coming from Seagull Sausage saying, were there any moments in manga slash anime slash video games that gave you literal goosebumps? In other words, what moments from the aforementioned media left an impact on you? Again, as I mentioned before, I play a lot of video games, and a lot of the games that I play end up being story-centered. And I'm the type of guy, I let myself get like fully immersed and just like sucked into the game. So anytime that like even the most slightly substantial thing happens in the story, I'm usually there feeling like every emotion from it, whether that be happiness, sadness. Like, there's so many times where I'm playing games where I'll literally laugh out loud, or I'll literally start crying, or, you know, I'll kind of get like the chills and the goosebumps where the hairs are standing up on your arm. With how many games I've beaten, with how many animes and mangas I've watched slash read, it's happened to me many times. However, sure if I was just to kind of like give off the most recent example, I'd say like the ending of Final Fantasy 15. Even though I knew what to expect from the ending, it's just, you know, it's been so long since I played the game, because I literally beat it once back at launch in 2016, and I haven't played it since. So I was there just like experiencing all the emotions again. And then plus you factor in all the other emotional cutscenes that the Royal Edition already added as in, so I already had all those emotions building up. And then by the end, needless to say, I was an emotional wreck. Honestly, even if it wouldn't have been so long since I played Final Fantasy 15 last, I definitely guarantee that I would have had those emotions anyway. Like, even if I would have just played it like a couple days ago and then went right back into the Royal Edition, I still think all those emotions would have hit just as hard, because the ending of that game is truly that powerful. And I do not care what anybody says about Final Fantasy 15. I've read a lot of things on like Reddit threads and online videos where people are like, oh, the ending to that game sucks, the whole final chapter, it's rushed. And I couldn't disagree more. I like both vanilla Final Fantasy 15 and the Royal Edition of Final Fantasy 15. I mean, if you're gonna choose one version of the game to play, I would say go with Royal Edition, because that is like the de facto definitive edition of Final Fantasy 15 nowadays. But like, even the vanilla version, man, back in the day when I first played it, personally, I found the whole, like, ending bit of the game to actually be paced, like, perfectly. Like, well, in terms of what I was looking for at that point in the story, with how long I'd been playing and everything that it was building up to, it only made sense that things would have went at that pace. I feel like if they would have done it any differently and made your characters go off and do, like, other missions and side quests, it would have been so out of character and would have felt so out of place and, like, out of context for the story and, like, everything that was happening at that point. I'm dancing around a lot of spoilers, but all I'm gonna say, to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, is if you've been away for a very long time and you and your buddies have been fighting a war for a very long time, and you had an opportunity to put an end to the war, would you go off and do a bunch of side quests and a bunch of other tasks before going to, you know, complete the war? Or would you go win the war? Look, nobody else out here is defending Final Fantasy 15 vanilla, so if nobody else is gonna do it, then I'm gonna do it. I know that totally went off topic and into, like, tangent territory, but I'm sorry, I love Final Fantasy 15. Say what you will, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but for me, Final Fantasy 15, no matter what version you play, chef's kiss perfection. Anyway, that's another Q&A. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I do want to start doing these, like I said, at the beginning of every single month. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments of this video, or just kind of keep an eye on the community tab, and whenever I post something up over there, then, you know, you can be one of the first ones there, or join the Discord server, because they know about this stuff before anybody else. So anyway, as always, a shout out to the patrons and channel members, Carmen's Figure, Liberty Tab, Big Dynamite, Chalupasaurus Rex, Ray, Zach, Polar, Radio, Webster, Lamas, Bianca, Spurgatory, Drippy Sound, Little Asking, Food Management, Dinner, True 15, Clemson 1, Aaron Reynolds, and Unknown. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.